Hello everyone, I'm coming to you again, and I had just listened to, a great podcaster that's been on here on these YouTube streets for at least a decade, probably a decade and a half. I think I've been listening to him for that long, actually. And he has given us just such prophetic insight into our journey here. I guess I'm going to say the quiet part out loud right now, but today he gave a real nice little speech, insight sermon on how the synagogue of Satan has been able to control those white supremacists. And I don't know why I had a hard time. No, yeah, I do, because I know I say that a lot on my videos, but that's the cornerstone. That's the problem of how the flow of really all of the devil dealing that has been going on in the world today stems from that. And that is a spiritual thing that affects the literal that we see in our world. And we cannot look past that. Just know that those that practice it, and it's not everybody who's white, by the way. There are a small select group that actually can practice it, that have been given the power to do so. And that affects the whole, okay, that live under that practice. And it also affects those of us who suffer from it. But this gentleman was speaking about the infighting that is now currently going on. And so he spoke about the physical, and he kind of related on how we can combat the physical. And so he only went so far, right? And bless his heart, which was basically, I guess we're supposed to talk them out of it. I don't know. I mean, obviously, what I believe that I took away from it ultimately, because I look at it through spiritual eyes, is that we are powerless people. But we're also a powerful people, but we're made powerful through the Most High. He just doesn't use spirituality or religion in his sermons. I think that's the one thing that he's very logical and practical, like Spock from Star Trek, which I can also appreciate. But if you don't use the spiritual, then you don't get how you can't really service how we can get from under it, or what means that will happen by. And so, we've got to remind people that even with that great dissertation that he gave, he was talking about Tucker Carlson and the white right doing some infighting, and saying that they'll get back together again. In essence, that's what I heard. I'm going to preface it. That's what I heard, and that true, we still got to fight on our hands, because we are the number one enemy as Elohim's chosen people, and that is also absolutely correct. But far too often, I think that our brothers out here, and they put in the work. I don't want to downplay that, because that is absolutely needed. I think they have been traumatized through the defeats that we have been made to suffer, and that we had been told we would suffer. We were told we would suffer an utter defeat from Satan's children, because Satan had to rule. But I'm here to say that that's over now. And that's over now. And so the quiet part can be said out loud because it's not really a damn thing that they can do about it at this point. Something spiritual is happening right now. And it is manifesting in the physical, and it's going to be full blown sooner than we can possibly imagine. Just even in the air, you can feel something change, and people, including white people, everyone's been saying it feels different. Reality feels different. That is because the power that they had has been removed. And I want people to consider that the two supernovas and what's going on with the sun with 3i Atlas going around it denotes the removal of that power, because it's a spiritual thing. That means it's outer worldly. It's not planet-wide. It is solar system universal-wide. That is what is going on. That's what's happened right now. So it doesn't matter what levers or what infighting they have, it won't stop. That infighting is going to go completely deep. It is going to fracture them, because that is what it's supposed to do. Do you know that we are the spirit, the motivating force of life and being a free moral agent, as they say, being cognizant and conscious of our surroundings, conscious of where we are in the reality of our planet, our solar system, and the universe. That is a gift unlike any other. And so we are these supposedly quote-unquote free moral agents, even though we are born in imperfection. That's changing now. And so these people were given a certain amount of time. We are dealing with a supernatural being that got his ass whipped, and his army got his ass whipped by the Most High. And yes, Most High, you can best believe he took out a few of those angels that are now called demons. And when I mean that he took them out, he killed them, or she killed him. And that there probably was an army, or actually, personally, I believe that the Creator, the Most High, actually did it on his own. I believe he went up against Satan and the army on his own, and the angels that didn't join the ranks of Satan watched him take out Satan and the army and throw them down to our planet. It says that they were hurled down. So that denotes power. That denotes something that physically happened to them. That physically happened. Even though we may not have seen it, we are under the effects of it. And that the Most High, and I believe I did another video on this, so please look at my archives and review them, because each one of them you're going to get something out of. They'll really be able to settle your mind about what has happened, what is happening, and what is going to happen. So no, these people are never going to be able to close ranks with the synagogue of Satan anymore. They're not. And quite frankly, the synagogue of Satan doesn't have that kind of power anymore. They don't have that kind of muscle anymore. All they can do now is use their mouths, and the people that they have had under their thumb, they're going to continue to test that, and they're going to find that, oh, wait a minute, we can actually you don't have that gift anymore. And so there are some things that, so we have the spiritual, but it is going to, and it is already translating into the physical. And that's why you see a lot of the infighting with the alt-right. And that's actually just what we can see. Can you imagine what's going on behind the scenes? Can you imagine what I wouldn't be surprised if there's fisticuffs going on behind the scenes. It wasn't just the money. It was the promise, and I know this is going to sound weird to a lot of people. It was the promise that if they bless Israel, that they themselves would be blessed. And because their forefathers had absolutely stripped us of our very names and our very culture, our mother tongue, or our father's tongue, our blood lineage, that public claim to it, the trueness of that claim that we are the people spoken of in the Bible, that they took the Bible and co-opted it, took things out, put things in, which that is a 2,000 to 3,000 year working. There's a lot that has happened in the past to completely erase in the human mind the memory of who the true Israelites are. And that now has been reclaimed, but because of the overriding of these spiritual beings, these aliens basically, that are here and trapped on this planet, you have where nobody believes that, at least nobody with any amount of human power believes it. That could have changed things for America. And that's not our fault. That's not our doing. We tried to get them to do what's right. So no, something physical is going to have to take place. They can be united all they want to, but the money is only going to go so far now. It's not going to even go it's not going to go as far as it did in yesteryear. And each day that passes, the effects of money and the promise of the lie that if you do bless the synagogue of Satan, you yourself will be blessed. That's eroding as I speak here today. And at some point, these white folks are going to just break ranks. And when that happens, it's going to be a flood. I mean, just an emptying. And that's when the real trouble will start. There's no amount of cohesion. That's not the key or the linchpin to why they have been so successful in subjugating us and subjugating the world. They use bullets, bombs, and atomic bombs or nukes upon the inhabitants of this planet. And they were allowed to use that because the Most High had given rule to Satan. The only time that he intervened was when Satan and the demons tried to interfere with us directly to where it would upset the Most High's plans for redemption and deliverance. That's the only time he would intervene. He would usually have the angels intervene, right? So, and this is the reason why we did not go by the way of genocide, because if they could have done that, these aliens would have done it thousands of years ago. They would have just got us off the planet completely. And so the overriding providence of Most High stopped them from doing it. That's the only reason why we're actually still here and still alive and continue to reproduce. And I just want to remind you that we have to consider that because of the two supernovas and the dynamic of the sun, that's an indication to remove Satan's ability and his spiritual power or his angelic force, which is what he is, even though he's not considered an angel anymore, and the demons themselves, that's been removed from them. And so all they can do is just talk to these human beings. That's all they can do. And right now, apparently, what they told us is you better go hide because we can't protect you no more. We don't have the authority over this planet anymore to even touch these people anymore. We don't, and we told you this, and they did. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they told them that this is only going to last so long. Why else would they build their bunkers? Why else would they go down deep into the earth or go high up in the mountain? They've known all along that at some point the party was going to stop. What they didn't do is tell the masses of white folks that have enjoyed these unjust spoils and these horrifically ill-gotten gains. They just didn't share that with all of you. Do you know what I mean? Okay? And then they corrupted that Bible and they told you that everybody in the Bible was right. That was another horrific thing to do. And then they made the devil black. So no, so if we're just not going to be courageous to say that and risk whatever we need to risk, then I'll say it. I will say probably every good chance, every weapon that they have used on us and every weapon that they have used on humanity will be used on them. And I mean every weapon that they have created, they themselves are going to get a taste of. Anyway, have a good afternoon. Bye.